All right, so again, we are very excited this morning to have Nancy Campbell with us, again, to stay on this theme of healthy eating and healthy behaviors, putting words into action. So Nancy, thank you for joining us again, and hope everybody's ready to get up and do a little movement. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome, Patchouli. Thank you. I am so appreciative for the invite back. I had a great time. So glad to be back. So I am the exercise physiologist in the Zakim Center at Dana-Farber, and I am fully remote, doing everything over Zoom. So the nice part is that you can go to our website and you can join me for strength training exercise classes. You can join us for yoga classes. You can join us for Tai Chi and Qigong. Maybe you're in the mood for something more like some mindfulness. Maybe you want to see one of Hannah's colleagues, Stephanie, do some more nutrition. We have a lot of really great content for you all. It's completely free, right on the Dana-Farber website. If you go to Dana-Farber and you just put Zakim into the search box, you'll find us, you'll see our live classes, you'll see our previously recorded classes. So why don't we get ourselves moving here? So we're just gonna, march in place. I know that many of you are probably at home. I'm not expecting you to, I know Hannah's in a dress, so, I'm not gonna make all of you do anything too crazy this morning, but I do also want to hopefully entice you to realize that there's a fair amount we can do at home. We don't necessarily need a lot of special equipment. This piece of special equipment right here, our bodies, are often all that we need to be able to get a good strength training workout. We're going to take this move here of marching in place into a V step. So we step forward a bit wide and then back narrow. So again, we're customizing, making this as big or as little as we need. You may notice that I am barefoot. That's sort of my mode, and kind of the benefit of being at home is I can be barefoot. Obviously in a gym setting, that wasn't the best idea. So I take advantage at home, and often when I'm teaching for the Zakim Center, I am doing it barefoot. So maybe some of you are joining me barefoot as well. But of course, we got to do safety first. So socks and sneakers are also a great idea. So if that is set up current, that is just fine. So we'll do 3 more of these. 2 more. 1 more. Now we'll march wide. So I'm hoping to kind of build a bit on these previous presentations and hopefully entice some of you to consider and add some strength training into your routine. We're going to do alternating hamstring curls, so bending my knees. Because as we heard in this last Q&A question about, can we just have, liposuction and get rid of the fat? And what did we find out? Not quite enough. And I'm going to argue part of what that is it's not addressing or doing anything to get us stronger. And muscle is absolutely fantastic for helping with one of those risk factors that was mentioned, the high glucose levels. So we'll do 3 more of these. We'll see if Nancy can talk and teach. 1. Now we're going to do so the arms involved a little bit more. If they feel good going overhead, go for it. If you've got some shoulder stuff going on and you want to keep them a little lower, that's fine. The higher they are, the more that it's going to get up. So if you're already getting a little short of breath, you can also just totally leave them out. So doing what feels best for you. 3 more each way. 2 more. 1 more. Now we're going to do a knee and a twist. So a nice opportunity to warm up through the hips and the spine. Briefly, one of the real benefits of the strength training piece and building more muscle, it's really great for kind of churning up some of that glucose and sugars that we might have eaten and had in our diet. So another good reason to keep our muscles strong, good for our metabolism, good for our bone density. So lots of really good reasons, and hopefully today I'll show you some things that you can do at home Doesn't take a lot of space or equipment. We'll do 3 more to each side. 2 more. And 1 more. Okay. So that was sort of the active piece. Hopefully, you know, heart rate got up a little bit, feeling pretty good. We'll do a little bit more kind of mobility for hips and low back. I think a lot of us, if we haven't had low back pain at this point in our life, we probably will deal with it at some point. So I call this the shift hinge. So my feet are hip distance apart. I shift some weight into one leg, and then I kind of hinge away from it. I keep one hand on my thigh. If it feels good, I bring one arm overhead. So we're trying to open up this whole side body. Make some room in those lungs. We'll come back to center. We'll do this side 2 more times. Inhale and shift. Exhale and hinge. So I know we're going to kind of end our day today together with some focused or breathing and meditation. So this is a nice warm up. Get those lungs some space. We'll inhale and shift. Last one to this side. Hinge and reach. Because if you're real tight through here and then you try to take a deep breath, it's not going to happen. So this is our good little prep for that. The other side, wait. We hinge away. We reach up. Usually the sides feel different. Back to center. A, we're not symmetrical beings. And B, shift, hinge. You know, usually injuries, things like that, that might limit one side more than the other. Last one, shift, hinge, and reach. Okay, so we've opened up sort of side body, hip, low back, move up a little bit higher to our sort of mid-spine or thoracic spine. This is actually where we want to get a lot of our rotation. So we're going to work on that together. We're going to bring both arms forward, palms are facing one another. I call this the bow and arrow. So one arm, in this case, this arm for me, is going to pull back and just slightly sneak in. So you'll notice I'm not twisting. I'm keeping my shoulders facing forward, back to center. 2 more times on this side. Exhale back. Big exhale, twist that elbow in and center. 1 more, exhale back. Forward. Now we get the other side for comparison. Exhale back. So just like that last move, you may notice that one side's a little stickier, a little tighter. Again, exhale back. Reaching forward slightly with that front hand. Last one together, exhale back. And forward. Okay. So hopefully we got, you know, spine, everything moving. If you need a couple of shoulder rolls. So now we'll move into the more strength-based component of things. So I tend to teach for time in the Zoom world versus sets and reps. It works well for me. I'm totally open to also doing sets and reps. We'll sort of channel our inner ballerina today and do a plie squat. So in this case, we want feet wider than hip distance. This is where footwear and flooring is going to come into it. You may need to adjust things a bit. I'm going to kind of tuck my bum underneath me. I like to just kind of hold my hands here. If you've got weights and you want to grab them, go for it. We're going to go down, get a nice stretch in those inner thighs, and then we're going to come on back up. Down. So when I'm teaching in the Zakem Center, again, we do time, so I tend to do several circuits when we're together, and we tend to alternate between lower body moves and upper body moves. So right now we're doing the lower body together. And when I teach for time, what I encourage is when you feel like you've gotten to the point where you are sufficiently fatigued, then you stop. And if you're coming to class with me regularly, you'll start to see that you can join me for a little bit longer, and a little bit longer each time. So hopefully by now, you're feeling these inner thighs, maybe your quads, fronts of your thighs, maybe even the glutes in the back. So lots of options here. 2 more of these together, down. They're going as low as feels comfortable. So again, you don't necessarily have to go to the depth I am, and back up. So we got a lot covered in that first one. Again, a lot of our lower body muscles just got covered. So a huge kind of check the box of that one. Great. Again, we talked about the glucose piece, big muscles, burning through that. So now I'm going to show you a row, really helpful for posture. I think all of us, and I feel like the pandemic has done nothing to help our kind of rounded forward posture. If you've got weights, go ahead and grab them. If there's a nearby water bottle, soup can, wine bottle, whatever it might be, you could go ahead and grab it. I'll also demo this with a chair if you have a chair nearby. You may want to grab it. I did more if possible because we're actually potentially going to use it again for a balance piece. And what I'll encourage, if you don't have a chair, it's fine, just come up to the wall, but sort of for visual purposes, I will use the chair. So one weight, and we're working our biggest, strongest upper body muscles. So like medium to heavy. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. The foot that's forward, that hand comes on the chair. I hinge forward, palm faces my body. I pull up, squeeze those shoulder blades together at the top, and then back down. Up with an exhale, and down. So despite the fact that I am turning to face the camera, for all of you, you're looking straight ahead. Once you've kind of seen me and you know the form, we want to keep that neck nice and aligned. But you can see, we don't necessarily need to be in a gym. We don't need a lot of special equipment. We can get these major muscle groups covered with just some creative things we have at home. So we'll do 2 more, up and squeeze. We want to go down nice and slow, particularly if we don't have a super challenging weight. Last one, up and down. So that's one of the things that I encourage when you're at home and you don't quite have the weights variety that you might have had in the past at the gym. So again, we want to set up 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, that same hand on the chair. Exhale up, inhale down. So if you don't, if it's kind of the Goldilocks where you've got one weight that's just a little too light, and the next heaviest thing you have in the house is a little too heavy, what you could do is start with a slightly heavier weight. And then once your form starts to decline, you'll put that weight down and grab the lighter weight. Or if you only have something that's just a bit too light, again, these are pretty strong muscles, we just go slower. So maybe you're counting yourself 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4, and down 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. So even if you didn't have weight at home, doing that sort of pace or slower, you should, you may have to do more reps, but you should be able to fatigue those muscles. We'll do 1 more of these together. Exhale up, squeeze those shoulder blades, and down. Okay, excellent work. So we will go back to lower body, give the upper body a little breather here. And I always incorporate some balance in my class. I think we all need to be working on our balance, whether we want to appreciate that or not. So I call this the soccer ball kick. So the leg that's closest to the chair or the wall is our source of stability. So we spread out those toes, fingertips on the chair. So I am going to rotate the foot of the other leg as far to the side. I have a fair amount of external rotation in my hip. If you can't rotate out that far, that's fine. Work with what you've got. Standing up tall, fingertips on the chair, we lift up and then even up a little higher. As I come down, you'll notice I'm going slow and I'm not putting any weight into it as I come back down. So again, these may start out on the easier side. You want to make sure you're going slow. You want to make sure you're not swinging back and then swinging forward. And the nice part about this particular exercise that we're doing is that you can change it up when you're doing it at home. Maybe When you do your exercise on Monday, you do this more inner thigh focus. Maybe when you do it later that week, you do foot forward and you get outer thigh. Maybe another day. So and a little bit of kind of creativity can get a lot of these leg muscles stronger. But again, without any special equipment, just using the weight of our legs. And if it's easy, then we just go slower. It's all about just getting to the point of fatigue. So in a gym, and when you could crank the weight up, it didn't take a lot. Maybe at home, it takes a bit longer, but as long as we're feeling it and getting fatigued, this is our last one. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it. Plus, we did some plies together already. So those muscles have been fatigued a bit already. So now we've got the other side for comparison. Again, I shift my weight into this leg. Try not to lock it. If you're prone to locking, turn that foot out, standing up tall. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. So this is also our balance. So depending, there may be days, balance is very humbling. Maybe days where you feel just right on target, balanced, stable, and then the very next time you go to try to do something like this, you feel like you're falling over the entire time. That just tends to happen. So using the chair as much as you need. If you're feeling pretty stable, can you let go? Can you go to a fingertip? But still maintaining that tall posture. You're gazing forward, so often it's tempting to be like looking at our foot, looking at the floor, again, our kind of rounded forward posture. We want to be up nice and tall and capitalizing on those postural muscles that we just worked. So we'll do one more. Up and down. Okay, so we'll do one more core exercise, and we'll do a standing core exercise. Traditionally, a lot of core exercises, we need to be on the floor, but knowing some of you may not be able to lay on the floor right now, I think it's always nice to have a slightly different way to do it. So similar setup, our standing leg is our source of support. You're likely going to need your chair potentially more for this than the last one. And I'll encourage you, if you can reach an arm overhead, go for it. If you can't, you're going to keep it out to the side. And what I'm going to do is kind of work into the waist. So I'm going to slightly hinge over and then come on back up. And I hinge over. So you'll notice that I am bending to the side a little bit. So if I stay up here, I'm not feeling it until I get, and I'm not necessarily trying to get the knee and the elbow to connect. I often talk about direction versus destination. So we're moving in the direction of the knee and the elbow coming together, but they do not need to touch. Get the stretch of the knees and up, and we'll switch sides. So we get a lot of bang for our buck on this one because, of course, we're getting our waist, we're also getting some arm, we're getting some stretching, we're getting some balance, we're getting some quad, we're getting some hip flexor. So other side, getting ourselves set up, slight bend in this knee. Again, if the arm can reach overhead, up and together, and back. So again, if the arm is feeling a little wonky, we can keep it on the shoulder. Sometimes my hip will be the wonky part, and I need to play with bringing my knee a little bit more forward, bringing my knee more out to the side. So whatever feels best to you. Again, trying to feel those waist muscles, get that stretch if the arm's involved. Let's do one more of these together, down. And exhale up. Woo. Okay, I don't know about you, but that was a short 15, 20 minutes. Got my heart rate up. Got a little glisten going on. So I do hope that some of you will take advantage of our classes in the Zachem Center at Dana-Farber, and whatever other version, if you're back in a gym or some other setting. But my goal is to just get you to do some strength training, keep those muscles strong, and thank you again for the opportunity to get you moving and grooving today.